in that sweet red lamp. And when I finally looked up, I saw him playing his horn and swaying. I started praying that he would look my way and I could sway him to take a minute and sit down and talk with me. He blew it slow, he blew it heavy. He kept it steady. I wasn't ready. He knocked me off my feet. He did deliver. I felt a quiver from my head down to my toes. I felt a quiver from my head down to my toes. I've been looking so long for a path that fits my feet. I've been listening so close, I just can't hear the beat. I've been watching the road, looking for the signs, and I just keep on breathing deep, and I take my time. Clouds are dancing in the sky, the body's on the grass, and the moon illuminates our limbs as we all forget our pasts. Entwined in this illusion, one body floating free, as autumn leaves twist in the wind and leave the mother tree. So come on and roll, Bobby, roll. Don't forget our destination. Roll, Bobby, roll. 'Cause time is a-wasting. Just bring me to the shoreline. I'm headed for the west. And bring me to the sunshine, and I'll do the rest. I've been thinking about the ocean. I've been thinking about the land. I've been thinking about my future, and I'm reaching out my hands. I've been thinking about my family. I've been thinking about my friends, and I'm hoping while I live in peace before I reach the end. Well, I have followed many journeys now, so many things I've found. I've seen the mountains rising up, heard the thunder crashing down. I've jumped into the river to wash away my sins. I've crawled up from the canyon, wondering if I'll ever win. Ooh, will I win? Oh, but all along my crooked path, I've been embraced by friends. Some are gone for good, some are with me to the end. And a compass kept inside my heart to guide me as I roamed. Now the truth that steers my soul has finally brought me home. So come on and roll, Bobby, roll. Don't forget our destination. Roll, Bobby, roll. 'Cause time is a-wasting. Just bring me to the shoreline. I'm headed for the west. And bring me to the sunshine, and I'll do the rest. I've been thinking about the ocean. I've been thinking about the land. I've been thinking about my future, and I'm reaching out my hands. I've been thinking about my family. I've been thinking about my friends, and I'm hoping while I live in peace before I reach the end. Yeah, I'm hoping that we'll all live in peace before I reach the end.
Wow. That's pretty neat stuff from the Real Sarahs, and I have the Real Sarahs in the studio. How are you?
Good, Joe.
Doing
Thanks.
great.
How you
Having a great
doing?
day.
I'm great. Now, you ladies have traveled far from Boonville and Calpella. Is that where you come
Boonville and Willits.
from? And Willits.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of road construction.
Yeah, you know how it is in Mendocino County. Slow going.
Yeah. So,
Hurry up and wait.
we have a gig coming up at the Guild Hall up north in Inglenook
Yeah.
on the 7th.
Yep.
Are you like super psyched about that? Is that...
Yeah,
We are.
we're really excited. I met Lee Ryder at the Redwood Ramble earlier this summer, and so we started talking about the possibility of coming up to Inglenook. And actually, a good buddy of ours had suggested it and talked about the great shows that have been happening there. So we're excited to play, a little more north on the coast. We haven't had the chance to play on the coast all that much.
Okay.
So yeah, and
We also have a couple friends coming to sit in with us,
I
so
see.
we're
It
really
looks
excited
like,
about
is it
that.
Matt Hartle?
Matt Hartle,
and
yeah.
Joey Goforth.
yeah.
And are they part of the Mason Weed group, or are they just some dudes?
Well, Matt Hartle is based out of Santa Cruz, and
Okay.
he plays with Painted Mandolin. So he plays with Joe Craven and
Okay.
a lot of cool sort of dead genre bands down there. But he's a smoking guitar player and guitar
Grateful
player.
Dead genre bands.
Yeah, mostly.
Not cryptic or something. Okay.
And then Joey Goforth is local to the coast. He's based out of Albion, but he got around a lot with the Bucky Walters band that was based out of Humboldt County for a while. So, yeah,
Cool.
It's nice to bring some local in.
And are they going to play with you, or are they just kind of opening, or kind of a mix?
Joey's
of both?
going to open, and then they're going to play some tunes with us.
All right. Well, what would you like to start off with? You have anything in particular?
Yeah, we're going to start with a tune called A Thorn in Every Rose.
All right. The Real Sarahs on KNYO. Take it away.
Oh, it's funny, the essence of these thorns, these old scars, some of my finest torments. The old loneliness holds me under, feels another song. Won't be long, gonna make something out of this pain. She got a little rain, water my garden. Darling, why don't you come on my way? Darling, why don't you come on my way? What do you say? La-di-da-da, so close. La-di-da-da, thorn every rose. So line up your sorrows in a row, look them in the eye, say let's go for a walk, come on let's talk. Well, I got time on my hands and water in the sand cold, ain't too sure. All this stuff I'm looking around is weighing down. Well, I don't need this baggage no more. No, I don't need this baggage no more. So, darling, why don't you come on my way? Darling, why don't you come on my way? What do you say? La-di-da-da, so la-di-da-da, thorn every rose. If you know me, I adore the young child, fill her pockets with stones. She'll away,
So darling, don't you come on my way, darling. Don't you come on my way. What do you say? La-di-da-da, 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 la-di-da-da. So darling, don't you come on my way, darling. Don't you come on, darling. Don't you come on my way. What do you say? La-di-da-da, 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 thorn every rose.
How many thorns are there on a rose?
That's the question.
Depends on the day.
Yeah, and the rose. All right, that was very nice.
Thanks.
Now, what's your favorite instrument to play? Each one of you. Do you have a particular, or do you just kind of mix them up?
My favorite is my baritone uke that I just got brand new from a local luthier, David Dart. He's over in Navarro.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm bonding with that right now.
Speaking of local luthiers, the acoustic on the wall is a James Goodall concert grand, who is a local guitar maker. Yeah, he made guitars in Hawaii for like 14 years before he moved his factory back here.
Nice.
Yeah, just keeping it, local.
Yeah, a lot of local talent here for sure.
Yeah.
For me, I like to sing. That's certainly my favorite instrument, but I also like to play guitar.
Neat.
Yeah.
I like guitars too. How about you?
Definitely the cello.
Yes. All right.
Yeah, I play ukulele out of necessity while I'm singing, but cello was definitely my favorite.
Is there a slang term for a bass ukulele, like a Buick or something?
I drive a Buick. That's kind of
all right.
A Buick and play a Buick.
There you go. All right. Well, what do you think? You want to play another tune, or I could ask you some funny questions?
Yeah, you got some questions for us?
Well, what inspires this musical style for a trio, or it used to be 2 Sarahs, now it's 3 Sarahs?
Yep.
It's kind of earthy overtones of folk-ish stuff. Here I am blabbling. What brings you to this kind of music?
Well, I think we all have arrived at our musical styles through different avenues, but I think ultimately the same influences speak to all of our hearts. I think it's really our heart songs that are coming out. I mean, for me in the writing process, like I just write what I'm hearing and what I'm feeling. And certainly I've been influenced by other artists and things that I've been introduced to throughout my life. But so I'm, in some way, I guess I grew up singing folky music and influenced by that community, but it's also just kind of what naturally comes out of me.
Did you grow up in the Anderson Valley, or?
I grew up on the East Coast in Massachusetts, actually.
So you didn't sing like
far to get here.
Sailing ship songs or songs about crabs or
a little bit.
Massachusetts stuff. Yeah, lobsters.
A little bit. I mean, I think we all grew up singing in ensembles, so a lot of choral stuff. But I'm not particularly inspired to sing Gershwin these days. This is kind of more of my true thing. And you've had some strong influences.
Yeah, I mostly love jazz. And in high school I was in a jazz vocal a cappella ensemble, so harmony is my love, and I love those jazzy chords that nobody's expecting, so yeah, we like to throw those in for sure. Yeah. And I grew up in Southern Ontario, so I'm also a transplant over here in California.
How about you?
I'm from here. I grew up in Willits.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'm a local, real local.
Over there in the bypass country.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is now.
And I mean, I grew up playing classical cello. That was sort of my first musical experience. And playing chamber music, it's all about harmony. And and also have 2 sisters, and we sang a lot growing up together. Going to Waldorf school.
Were they all named Sarah too?
No, strangely enough,
all right.
We get asked a lot if we're sisters, the 3 of us.
Yeah, that's a weird question.
Which is really a weird question.
Like one of the questions I was going to ask is, how did you arrive to this group name? which is obvious, but yet it might not be obvious.
Well, it was actually just the two of us, Sarah Larkin and I. We were singing with another ensemble. We called ourselves Motherland Family Band. And I don't know, it was just really hard to find people who were as dedicated to us to like doing this, and it was our music. And so in the end, it just we ended up doing an album, just the two of us. And yeah, we were both Sarah. So we just, we wanted to just be the Sarahs. So we actually made a poster for our first gig that was the Sarahs. And then we Googled it and found out there was a Christian group with that name.
Uh-huh.
And their names weren't even Sarah. So we got really mad, and we were like, we're the real Sarahs.
Yeah.
And we're like,
they should rename their group to after the angel Gabrielle or something.
Right. So yeah, we're the real Sarahs, and that just kind of stuck because our music's really real. It's really raw, and we sing about what we know. So what we live. So.
And also, I think like the way I define it now, like, we it was funny because we were literally like ready to put out this album and call it the Sarahs. There would have been like copyright infringement issues had we done that. But like, as like stepping back from that moment, like for me, I feel like I'm really Sarah when I'm singing. Like that is the real Sarah, is myself. That's expressing myself creatively and musically. And I think that, it's probably the same for all of us. Like we feel really ourselves telling our truth, speaking our truth, and showing up for, offering our gifts in this lifetime when we're singing. Like that's really us.
When I had Stephen Bates on live downtown at the KNYO studio, that was a question I gave him. How do you name the Stephen Bates band? Anyway. Well, you have another tune. Would you like to try something else?
Sure. We're going to get into a little social commentary for you here.
Uh-oh. It's all right.
This one's called Headed for the Hills. And Sarah Rose is going to get out her cello here.
And we should say that, too, that, we've recorded 2 albums as a duo.
Sure.
Sarah Rose came in. We actually met her coming in to play cello on our album. And we've been recently working on a trio album, the first representation of our sound as a trio, singing and playing together. And this song will be on it.
Excellent.
That's true.
All right. Okay. The Real Sarahs, KNYO.
Headed for the Hills. I'm headed for the hills, gone away from the city. I'm headed for the hills. God rest your souls. I'm headed for the hills, gone away from the city. I'm headed for the hills. God rest your souls. You've seen the signs and you've read the papers. They've drawn the line and it's written in blood. People on the front line trading lives for conveniences, and we don't pay no mind. We're just stepping in line. I'm headed for the hills, gone away from the city. I'm headed for the hills. God rest your souls. I'm headed for the hills, gone away from the city. I'm headed for the hills. God rest your souls. Gunning children down, and there's no crime for punishment, and their fatal flaw was the color of their skin. we can't trust the government. We're in a house of straw and the wolf's on his way. I'm headed for the hills, gone away from the city. I'm headed for the hills. God rest your souls. I'm headed for the hills, gone away from the city. I'm headed for the hills. God rest your souls. I'm headed for the hills. God rest your souls.
Very nice. The Real Sarahs, live in studio at the Joe Kidd Pavilion in Cleone. This is the beautiful thing I like about this particular station is you can log in from remote locations, and we've had broadcasters as far as vacationing in India who will log in and do a show. Of course, to do a 2 p.m. show, they're on some wacky time zone when they actually go on. So it's kind of neat. You could even do a show where you live.
Yeah, that's great. You know, we're really lucky. We've been very blessed to have a lot of support from especially local independent stations. And
Sure.
I want to say thanks to you for having us out. And, you know, it's important for independent artists. You don't have a lot of money and publicity departments and so forth.
Sure.
To be able to get our music out there, especially live appearances and people that will play, you know, an independent released album. It's definitely a blessing. We really appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, an independent album, you
good
can't
resource.
just send it to any Westwood One station because it just, you know, sits on a shelf, or eventually they'll have a pile of envelopes and, you know, take it to the recycle center or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sadly. Cats or dogs?
Cats.
Cats.
Dogs.
All right.
I'm kind of both. Cats,
All right, all right.
dogs, both.
All right.
Depends on the creature.
I guess so. I was wondering if I said cats or dogs, if one would say horse or, you know, so it depends.
Dogs.
If you could open for another larger act that would be featured somewhere like Cotton Auditorium, that was a, you know, a blowout, fill the whole hall gig, who would you like to see on the coast come over? I'm always looking for something different, you know?
I'd love to open for and play with the Wood Brothers. Is sort of the group that I'm manifesting right now. Some of other women duo and trios that we know, the T Sisters and the Shook Twins, have both been on tour and done some collaboration with the Wood Brothers. And so it's Chris Wood from Medeski, Martin and Wood.
Oh, okay. I have 2 of their albums.
And then his brother Oliver Wood on soulful lead vocal and guitar.
Is there an organist?
No,
or is it just them?
No, there's a percussionist. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I don't remember his name. But they're real organic. But man, they got an amazing sound as a trio, and they're
interesting.
Really
I hear is it Medeski, Martin, and Wood? Is that the 3? I have 2 of their albums, and it's kind of like drum organ related stuff. It's like drums, organ, and bass.
And real jazz.
plays
the real
keys.
kind of jazz fusion sort of.
Yeah.
Sound, but the Wood Brothers is way more organic. And I don't know, what about you ladies? Do you have anybody on your hit list?
That's a good one. Elephant Revival would be really
Elephant Revival?
amazing.
Yeah.
Do they have a tuba player?
What was that?
Do they have a tuba player?
No, they have an amazing washboard / cello player / crazy amazing vocals. And
I always relate tubas with elephants because I'm married into a Mexican family, and you know, lots of times it's bump, 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 bump. And it's like elephants, you know, just naturally. That seems to be, if I was an elephant and had to pick an instrument, it'd probably either be a bass drum or a tuba or something like that.
I think it would be cool to play with some kind of soul band, because we're really great doo-woppers.
Oh
We
yeah,
can doo-wop on demand.
can you?
Yeah.
Sure.
We'll
So-
even do a little dance.
Do you have any doo-wop tunes that you have planned for like this guild gig coming up, or anything you'd like to play?
We kind of doo-wopped at all of our each other's
we
stuff.
back each other up by
but,
doo-wopping
uh,
a lot.
but
We just played this great festival at Camp Navarro this past weekend too, and we just got up with all kinds of different bands and did a lot of backup singing as well as doing our own sets.
Neat.
Tricorum was really great singing with them. They have real soulful organ.
they're based out of the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, what do you think? You want to try something else?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Switch it up. Whatever you'd like to do. I noticed in my headphones, I can hear the dogs all the way through the house. That's the beautiful thing about using like real sensitive condenser mics is they pick up everything. But that's all right. It adds character to have a dog in the background somewhere.
This is real live radio, so there's real life happening around.
Exactly. I consider my regular KNYO show, I call it a rockin' variety show. And sometimes I'll play all bass player music or all female artists, or I'll go into some zone and just go with it. Once we get to the top of the hour, I'm starting with like about 5 different related REM parodies and an REM track, because one of my listeners keeps telling me, play some REM. And I'm like, fine. So anyway, I have the real Sarahs here because they're going to be playing at the Inglenook Hall up north on the 7th with Matt Hartle and Joey Goforth, and they're live. And what's the next tune you'd like to play? What's the title of this?
This one is a different genre completely. This one is on the new album. It's called It Might Grow.
Okay.
A lot of our stuff is kind of Americana-y, but this is not. And the track on the album is way different, has all kinds of cool horns and stuff. But we've been having fun playing this a lot this summer. So here we go.
Careful what you sow, 'cause it might grow. There is infinite potential in this life, don't you know? What can you do? What are you bringing? I came here for singing. Wanna leave the past in the past, make the most of the moment while it lasts. Thankfulness and forgiving, I'm gonna make my life for living. Oh, I'm gonna make my life for living. Da-da-da-da-da. Careful what you sow, 'cause it might grow. There is infinite potential in this life, don't you know? What can you do? What are you bringing? I came here for singing. Wanna leave the past in the past, make the most of the moment while it lasts. Thankfulness and forgiving, gonna make my life for living. Oh, I'm gonna make my life for living. Da-da-da-da-da. Makes me think about a man. Well, he's got dirt on his hard-working hands. His back is tired and his head is hurting, but he just keeps working. He wishes he could stay at home and turn off his mind, and turn off his phone, but kids are hungry and the rooster's crowing, so he just gets going. Be careful what you sow, 'cause it might grow. There is infinite potential in this life, don't you know? What can you do? What are you bringing? I came here for singing. Wanna leave the past in the past, make the most of the moment while it lasts. Thankfulness and forgiving, I'm gonna make my life for living. Oh, I'm gonna make my life for living. Da-da-da-da-da. I love, and I put my faith in the goddess above, and I try not to dwell on what could be, because I'm right where I should be. Give thanks for this time and space, and I try to keep a smile on my face. I'm gonna fly, there'll be no wait in my paradise. It's one I'm creating. Careful what you sow, 'cause it might grow. There is infinite potential in this life, don't you know? What can you do? What are you bringing? I came here for singing. Wanna leave the past in the past, make the most of the moment while it lasts. Thankfulness and forgiving, gonna make my life for living. Oh, I'm gonna make my life for living. Da-da-da-da-da. I'm gonna make my life for living. Da-da-da-da-da. We gotta make this life for living.
That's excellent. You know, once you started the tune, I was thinking, grow, because I listened to the whole CD and I sampled a few tracks last week, and I might have played that one. You know how the old gray whistle test works? Yeah, I guess in Europe, you know, if you walked out with a hit, you would sing it to the guys in the gray jackets out front, and then like the next day, if they could remember the tune, it would pass the test, something to that effect.
Right.
That one really stuck in my mind when I heard it the other day. And same with Trouble. That song Trouble also, both of those tunes just pop. I like those. Those are nice tunes.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah.
It's really been a fun experience to get to record 2 albums of all original music. And as we talked on the phone earlier, most of the songs we did on the first album are duplicated on the second album because the sound of the album is so different. We brought all these amazing other instrumentalists and collaborators in. That's actually how Rosie came to be in our group, playing cello, and maybe we'll play one of the tracks from the album that features that. But it's so cool to write these songs, and some of the songs, you know, have been around a really long time, and to get to really flesh them out. And
where did you record this album, the new one? Was that recorded fairly local, or?
Yeah, over at Russian River Studios. It's off of Talmadge in Ukiah. It's Ken Ingalls that owns that place, and we had a really great engineer there, Andrew Miller. He was really awesome, and we did the drums and the bass mostly there, and then we actually decorated my bedroom with blankets all over the walls and and ceilings, and
there's actually a sleeping bag
in there.
Behind the drapes behind you is a sleeping bag pinned because this is a garage studio, and so I still have some sound treatment to do since I've relocated.
Sure.
But you know, it's a homegrown studio, so I build it on my own time and stuff.
It's really a homemade album. And because, you know, we're not full-time musicians yet, and we have day jobs. In fact, you know, we're both running businesses and so forth.
Sure.
Like, we're doing it after work and during the day. And
any businesses you want to give props to while you're here? It's your hour, so.
I'm a preschool teacher.
Cool.
I have a little preschool. It's called Sycamore Tree Play Garden, and it's over in Boonville.
Neat.
Little Waldorf preschool.
And I have a plant nursery in Boonville called Goodness Grows Nursery, right between Philo and Boonville.
Wait a minute. Is that the one that when you're driving that away, it's on this side? It's very close to Gowan's. That
it's
big
on
nursery?
the west. Yeah, it's on the west side of the 128.
Yeah.
It used to be the Tinman Apple Juice Company and the Tinman Nursery. And after working there for a number of years, I took over actually right after we recorded our first album. So it's been a really interesting juggling act over these last 4 years.
Yeah.
As our musical career has been really blooming to balance business ownership. And
I should drop in there sometime because we take 128 a lot, and usually I'm way over the speed limit, blazing past there. Unless if our dogs need a drink and a pee stop, then we'll stop at Gowan's and, you know, buy some frozen cider, and then we're just back on the road. But I've never stopped in that nursery. I'll have to make a point of coming in there sometime.
It's a beautiful spot. We're having a big fall planting sale right now, so you should come on by.
Now, what's the best thing to plant in fall? Well, I mean, I guess it's all about preference, but anything in particular?
The brassicas are great right now.
Yeah, fall vegetables are great. Garlic, obviously, but any winter, cold hardy perennial, it's awesome to put them in at this time of year because they get the whole, wet, cold season to get established before our long hot summer. So
sure.
Any perennial plants is a really great time to do.
Was that last song inspired by nursery activity at all?
Well, it's, actually, yes. My dear friend, Greg Ludwig, who I worked with, I actually bought the business from Greg and Wendy Ludwig.
Okay.
Greg is a musician at heart. He's a music man at heart, but doesn't make music. But he's a very enthusiastic ingester of music.
You should be a DJ.
And he's always likely to gives me advice about audio stuff, whatever. So there was a point in our relationship as friends when he knew I was writing a lot and would come to me and like give me little tidbits of lines. He's like, oh, this would be a great line for a song. So he actually gave me that line, be careful what you sow because it might grow.
Yeah.
And from that, when this song actually talks sort of, generally talks about him a little bit as this hardworking person who really just wants to be more free, but like you can't really do it because you've got responsibilities and things that need to happen. So it's kind of a tribute to him and gratitude for offering me that line, but it just kind of, came, spawned from that. He planted the seed.
Yeah.
He sowed the seed of that song for sure.
So next week on Backstory, so sounds like an NPR clip now almost. If you have any website information for the Real Sarahs, anything you want to plug as far as that? Do you have a dedicated website or a Facebook page? What's that all about?
Yep, all of that. You can check us out at www.therealsarahs.com. And then we're on Facebook, The Real Sarahs. We're on Instagram, The Real Sarahs. Yeah.
Excellent.
And that's Sarahs with an H.
Yes.
With an H and an S. Not an apostrophe S because it's plural Sarahs.
See, I'm confused. I'm terrible, and I type and type in like lowercase. It's just because I'm an idiot.
Well, it's really funny to write a name in plural. You don't see it ever. And so anyone who writes our name, they usually write apostrophe S, but it's not like
that's Sarah's cookie.
It's
right.
Always.
Yeah.
Right. It's
all
plural Sarahs.
The technological autocorrection always makes it possessive.
Yeah.
But we're not possessive, we're plural. That's unique. Plural Sarahs is definitely weird.
It is correct on the poster.
That's because I made it.
Excellent.
Booyah.
All right. Well, what would you like to play next? We've got like 19 minutes left, and unless there's something else you'd like to talk about.
We'd love to play a track off the album.
Sure. Off the new album, right?
Yeah. Let's do one that features the cello.
All right.
How about what do you
need to look at it, or
let's do Searchin'?
Okay.
Searching
is
or we could play it live. Either way.
What would you rather do?
Let's take a little break and play
all right.
the album.
We're going to play Searching. This is track 11. And what's this album called? I'm looking right at it. Oh, yeah. Afternoon with the Dirty Birds.
It's called Afternoon with the Dirty Birds, and you can get it locally in Mendocino County at Dig Music in Ukiah. Mike over there has been real great supporter of our music, but you can also get it online. We're on iTunes, we're on Amazon, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube, all those places.
How did that title come about? Where were you sitting one afternoon going, gosh, those birds are all crapping on my car? Or is there some backstory to the album title?
Well, Dirty Birds has more to do with a state of mind than a state of filth. We co-wrote that song, the two of us and our good friend Kyle Madrigal, who plays on the album and helped as co-producer and did a lot of engineering on the album. And we had written a lot of like sad breakup heart songs, and we were just determined to write something that was fun. And so when we would sit down and have fun, there were a lot of innuendos and inside jokes and that sort of thing. And
that never happens with a trio of girls, I'm sure.
Yeah, the male influence certainly helps, but that was kind of our alter ego name, was the Dirty Birds. And so that song sort of was born from that.
All right. Well, you guys are all tuned into 107.7 KNYO, streaming on the web at knyo.org. I have the Real Sarahs in house, and here's track 11 off their new CD, Afternoon with the Dirty Birds. Here's a track called Searchin', and we'll see you on the other side of this.
I must be traveling on, making my way to another town. I don't even know what I'm looking for, what I've found, but I fill up the gas, then I turn the key and I'm off of the horizon, and the sunset is up ahead, moon is on the left, shadows are behind me, and I'm searching, will I find my way? And I'm searching, what lies up ahead? And I can feel your heat coming from your words, coming from your fire, and it warms me to my core, warms me on my face, warms me to my heart, and you coming from the cold, coming from the dark, coming from the distance, and I open up the door, open up my eyes, open up the way. Here I go, yet again, thinking about separation. I don't even know how I got into this pattern of hearts breaking. First I feel, then I fall. I want it every second I'm away, but after a while the fire dims and I start plotting my escape, and I'm searching deep inside of me, and I'm searching, how can I have love and still be free? And I can feel your heat coming from your words, coming from your fire, and it warms me to my core, warms me on my face, warms me to my heart, and you coming from the cold, coming from the dark, coming from the distance, and I open up the door, open up my eyes, open up the way. Hey.
Well, what do you think of that track? Is that like a favorite or searching? I'm searching for something to say here.
It's my favorite.
It's really great. It's really a power ballad. You know, it takes a lot out of us.
Yeah.
To sing it, because it's really like a heavy on the feels, I would say.
Heavy on the feels. All right.
And the recording is great. The mixing is great. The cello is just superb on the album. It's I think it comes across really well in the album.
It's crispy.
Yeah.
You know, the overtones are kind of crispy, you know,
Yeah.
although we're all having a conversation behind the scenes, you know, radio and stuff, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's a nice crispy sound, definitely.
we're really proud of the album overall. You know, it's been really a dream of ours to do a full-length album. We had an incredible amount of community support. We had a big GoFundMe campaign and had people like give a lot of money for us to be able to do this project, and which is amazing. It's really encouraging for us to continue what we're doing, and that people really believe in us and feel for us and want to be a part of it.
What would you think of playing Earth Day Festival next year? You know, last year they had the band Say What played, and then they had Trisha Godwin, DJ Nutritious, did some time and stuff. But I don't know if that's a paying gig, but I'm just throwing it out there. That's a spot where a group like what you ladies produce would be a really cool act for something like the Earth Day Festival.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We're generally open. You know, we play all over the place.
What's your range?
We're already booking like into next year. Like this summer has been a big summer for us. Like we played at the Kate Wolf Festival.
Nice.
You know, we just played at Camp Deep End with a lot of high caliber bands. So we're hoping to make Oregon Country Fair and Strawberry and a lot of bigger venues. But we really like to play at home. There's something about... So
as far north as Oregon and as far south as...
Santa Cruz at this point.
Far.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we're going to be stretching out. And there's something about playing at home and having our friends and families be in the audience who really appreciate what we do. And always like lots of new people. And there's kind of a buzz around. Like we played at the Botanical Gardens for their big benefit. And there are all these people who are like, we've been hearing about how amazing you are, you know, and we came out to see you. So
yeah. Well, you want to try another live tune for our studio audience? What do you think?
Definitely.
Sure, yeah.
All right. Well, it's 5:51. We've got 9 minutes before I take off into my crazy variety show, and this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, we were just talking about how we got to play at Kate Wolf, and one of the highlights for all of us, I think, at that festival was being part of the Kate Wolf song set, which is a bunch of different bands learning Kate Wolf songs and kind of taking turns doing that. So we learned this for that, and this is called Red Tail Hawk.
All right.
It's by Kate Wolf. Red-tailed hawk writes songs across the sky. There's music in the water flowing by, and you can hear a song each time the wind sighs in the golden rolling hills of California. In the golden rolling hills of California. Well, it's been so long, love, since you said goodbye. My cabin's been as lonesome as a cry. There's comfort in the clouds drifting in the golden rolling hills of California. In the golden rolling hills of California.
neighbor came today to lend a hand. So fix the road as best I can. There's just some things that need helping hand. In the golden rolling hills of California, in the golden rolling hills of California, in the golden rolling hills of California, in the golden rolling hills of California. Red tail write songs across the sky. There's music in the water flowing by. You can hear a song each time the wind sighs. In the golden rolling hills of California, 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 in the golden rolling hills of California.
Nice. We got time for one more if you want to do something else. We've got a few more minutes.
You want to do Trouble?
I like that song.
Well,
But that's up to you.
Okay, we'll do that one just for you then. Oh, the capo's on the end of that.
Well, we're setting up here. This is The Real Sarah's live on KNYO LP4 Bragg, streaming on the web at knyo.org. Yes, tiny. This reminds me of like Tiny Desk Studio NPR or something, but I don't know.
Okay,
This is a song that stands out for me definitely on the
for
album
you,
when I
Joe.
heard it. All right.
Thanks for having us in.
It's been a blast.
Live the life of ease, birds singing in the trees, hands digging in the dirt, the wind blowing up my skirt. But then a passerby looked my way and he caught my eye. Skipped a beat, let go a sigh, now my heart needs an alibi. But I ain't looking for no trouble. I am opening my arms up wide. I want freedom on the double. And I will open my wings and fly. So now I'm going through the motions, treading water in an ocean. Hearts hanging on the line, love like that is hard to find. No matter how hard I try, can't live my life as a lie. Hearts will heal, love will grow, guilt and shame off the bridge I rode. But I ain't looking for no trouble. I am opening my arms up that the damage is done, and I'm sitting here in the sun. Can't help feeling a little sad. I guess I'm mourning the life I had. But life isn't life without freedom, even if I think I need him. So this change is bittersweet. I gotta get back on my feet. And I ain't looking for no trouble. I am opening my arms up wide. I want freedom on the double. And I will open my wings and fly.
The Real Sarah's on 107.7 KNYO. Thanks for stopping in. That was a blast.
Thanks,
And
Thank you, Joe.
hey, and we'll see you at the Guild coming up real soon. And with that, it's now time for the official Wagner Variety Show to kick in. This hour brought to you by Rhodes Auto Parts, your Napa dealer on the Mendocino coast, featuring ASE certified parts technicians at 964-5607, located at 203 North Main Street, downtown Fort Bragg. This is 107.7 KNYO LP, and I've got some REM because Andrew keeps on requesting it, so stick around. At the bottom of the hour, the Rhodes Auto Parts date book, and at that point, I'm going to tell you one more time about the Real Sarah's concert coming up next on the 7th. Stick around. Wagner Variety Show.
Occupy my time. This one goes out to